Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Santana, and I'm going to be the MC for tonight. I'm coming to you live from Miami, Florida, and I'm very excited to be here to be with everyone and all the panelists. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I work as a senior consultant for a prominent CPA firm called Kaufman Rawson. I graduated with my MBA from UF in 2017. And I'll tell you, it was one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. As a Gator alum, I'm truly excited to welcome our newest Caimanes to our Hispanic-Latinx first-year student and family. Welcome. Thank you so much again for joining us this evening. And on the screen, you will find, you could change the slide, you can find a few housekeeping items that we ask you to keep in mind as you participate in this evening's event. We're thrilled so many of our Gator parents and families have joined us today, and tonight is going to be packed with a lot of great information. We want to share that the UF Association of Hispanic Alumni and our panelists will not be speaking on behalf of the university for any policies in regards to COVID-19. All of our viewers are currently participating in listen-only mode, but if you have any questions at all for our panelists, please post them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. We will try to answer as many questions as we can during our time together, and we'll only answer questions, again, related to the content that's spoken today. If there's any questions that you see that are very similar to the ones that you want to ask, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that way we know it's an important question to get to. While the bulk of our panelists will be presenting to you all in English, we're happy to share that our Q&A section will be bilingual in English and in Spanish. And for you who would like to rewatch our amazing panelists again, we're going to be recording this and putting this on our AHA Facebook page and website. All right, so with that, I'd like to kick it off and give a quick poll to see who is joining us today. If you're logged in through Zoom, I invite you to participate and answer the question below. For folks who might identify with multiple of these identities, select one that you identify with the most. I'm going to give you about a minute to answer the question, and then we'll move on from there. So how do you identify? About 30 seconds, and then we'll close it. Okay, it's a good time to start. So let's see the results. Wow, look at that. Got a lot of locals. Very happy to see so many Caimanes joining us today. We're so happy that you've all decided to join us this evening. And with that, I would like to start introducing the wonderful panelists that we have for today. Starting first, if you want to go to the page, we have Leanna Guerra. She is currently the president of the UF Association of Hispanic Alumni. She graduated from the University of Florida in 2015 with a degree in economics. During her time on campus, Leanna served as president of the Hispanic Student Association, or HSA, a senior ambassador at La Casita, and was the only student on the Council of Advisors to UF's Bob Graham Center for Public Service. Additionally, Leanna co-founded Gators for Tuition Equity, which successfully lobbied to make Florida the 21st state to allow undocumented students to pay in-state tuition rates, which is amazing. She currently works in Congress as a chief of staff to the US Representative Darren Soto. Thank you so much, Leanna, for being here today. Next up, we have Christian Carrano. He's a third year rising student at the University of Florida, studying legal history in the pre-law track. He currently serves as the Vice President of Operations for the Hispanic Student Association and has been involved with HSA since his freshman year. Some of his other involvements include Florida Blue Key, Homecoming, and Gator Grau, student government, Sigma Lambda Beta International Fraternity Incorporated, along with other things I'm sure that he's also doing on the side. After he completes his bachelor's degree, Christian hopes to attend law school and pursue a career in national law, and his dream job, which I thought was really cool, was to be the US ambassador to Israel. We really appreciate Christian's contributions today. Next, Janet Meza earned her bachelor's degree in political science with a minor in leadership at the University of Florida. She also holds a master's degree from Michigan State University in student affairs administration. Janet is a first-generation college student and comes from a family of immigrants. She has a passion for working and advocating for diverse populations, which led her to serve as our program director of Hispanic-Latinx Student Engagement Office. Her work has been critical in the efforts towards creating opportunities for all Gators to engage, transform, and thrive. Thank you so much, Janet, for joining us. Natalie Taren is our next panelist. She serves as an Associate Director of Center for Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement, where she provides guidance to full-time staff who oversee identity-based spaces and initiatives in support of the UF student experience, one of which includes the Office of Hispanic-Latinx Student Engagement. A South Florida native, she earned her Master's of Science in Health Education with specialization in community health from the University of Florida and has over 9 years of experience serving students in higher education. Thank you, Natalia. Last but certainly not least, we have Anna Medina. She's a board member for the UF Association of Hispanic Alumni. She leads the Student Engagement Committee and graduated from UF in 2014 with a degree in political science. She currently lives in Chicago and is a manager at a professional service firm called Deloitte, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard. She serves as the Chief of Staff for the company of Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. Thank you to each of our speakers for joining us this evening and choosing to share their experience with our friends and family who have logged in today. And with that, I am pleased to welcome our first speaker, Leanna Guerra, the UF AHA president, who will kick us off tonight with opening remarks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for your introduction and for everyone for being here. Well, one, I just want to welcome you all. If you're here, that means you're probably starting your UF journey, or you are here to represent maybe your child or family member who is starting their UF journey, and that is really exciting. As Jonathan mentioned, I am the current president of the UF Association of Hispanic Alumni. I myself am a Gator alum. I did graduate in 2015 with my degree in economics, and I loved my experience at UF so much, I decided to get my MBA from UF, and I graduated in 2020 with the other pandemic graduates too. But we're excited that you'll be able to have a different experience. This event is the third time that we're able to do it, and it's one that I really hold dear to my heart. As alumni, we've come together and we've thought about ways that we can provide insight and information that we wish we had as students at UF. And so we really hope that this is informative and helpful for you before you start your classes this semester. So we can move on to the next screen. Just to tell you a little bit about the UF Alumni Hispanic Association. So we were founded in the you can move on to the next, there we go. We were founded in the early 1990s, so probably before you were born. And our mission is to promote the University of Florida and our Hispanic Latino heritage. We currently provide support to UF students like yourself in their development as future Gator and alumni, and we host events across the country for our alumni as well. Next slide. So as you can see, we're based all over the place. Of course, we have our significant community in Florida, given that UF is in Gainesville. We have the largest amount of our alumni are in fact in South Florida. But we've also over the years have expanded because as you'll learn, the Gator Nation is everywhere. So we do have members in Washington, DC. I myself am based right in Virginia, and I work in Washington, DC at the Capitol. We have people in New York City, Anna's in Chicago, we have folks in California. And so we're all over the place, which is also a really exciting part of AHA, where we're able to provide support for you when you graduate several years from now and you end up either staying in Florida or moving out of state. We're here to support you throughout that entire process. Like I mentioned, we put on this official welcome event for all first year Caimanes, which is just a way to say Gators in Spanish, and for their families. We know a lot of you have questions about college, especially we saw on the poll that some of you are first generation college students and family members. Congratulations, this is a huge feat and we're really proud of you to join the Gator Nation. And like I said, we've all been in your shoes before, so we're here to lend that support. So welcome to the Gator Familia. And like Jonathan mentioned, we have some of our friends here tonight who they're gonna share their insight and experiences to also better prepare for the road ahead. And so the next slide will show what this agenda looks like for tonight. So first, we're going to hear from Christian Carrano, who, as we mentioned, is from the Hispanic Student Association. It was one of my favorite organizations that I was a part of at UF. I was a part of it for 3 years and became president in my senior year. So he'll discuss a little bit about what are student organizations and why it may be meaningful for you to get involved in HSA or some other student organizations on campus. Then we'll hear from Janet Mesa and Natalie Taren. They're from the Office of Hispanic-Latinx Student Engagement, and they're going to talk about resources that it provides to students. I myself was involved when I was a student all 4 years at UF. It was one of the most meaningful experiences being part of, you'll learn a little bit of, there's a structure called La Casita, and I was what they call an ambassador there. And it's just a little home away from home for students on campus, especially for me being from Miami. I'm Cuban American. And, I went from being at a high school of about 95% of my classmates were Hispanic to a different kind of different demographics at UF and feeling a little bit different. So when I found La Casita, I really, it was nice to have some cafecito there and other people, speaking Spanglish and, just talking about different resources on campus for people like me. And I really enjoyed having that safe space. So you'll learn a little bit about that and the other resources that they provide. And then I'll conclude the panelist section and talk again a little bit more about UFAHA and what we do as an organization to support students, and then alumni, which you'll become quicker than you realize. After the panelist section, stick around because that's a really important part. We're going to have a Q&A portion of the event where you're going to be able to ask questions to any of us panelists. We're going to also be able to provide answers. We'll have someone who's translating for English and Spanish in case there's someone on the line who is not, that they prefer to speak Spanish. Anna Medina will serve as our translator tonight. So please stay on to the Q&A. And we'll also share some words of wisdom and advice for you all. So thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Leanna. Really, really appreciate it. And it's very true. You're going to be an alum before you know it. So time certainly moves very quick. And with that, I will now pass it over to Christian Carrano, where he's going to, give his input.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. And thank you, Leanna, too. If we can go to the next slide. So hi, everyone. My name is Christian Currano. As you heard before, I am the Vice President of Operations for the Hispanic Student Association here on campus this year. I've been involved in other things on campus. I love involvement, but just some little fun facts about myself. I am from Miami. I was born in Cuba and then I moved to Miami. I am a first generation Gator. So I didn't know much about college when I first come in. And I'll tell you another fun fact, which is a very full circle moment for me. I was one of the people that was in that first year welcome event for AHA. And it really did change the way that I approach college and the way that I approach my involvement at UF. So I hope that we are able to do that for you as well here. Now, can we go to the next slide? But before we even start, I would love to hear from all of you, student to student. What are you the most excited about coming to UF? You guys should see a poll on the screen now. You can answer whichever one you want. I'll tell you what I was most excited about. It was definitely the Gator sports, just because I come from a high school that didn't necessarily win a lot of football games. So coming now to UF, that it's a very big football school and they typically win a lot of games, it was just very exciting to me. And it's just a completely different environment that I don't think you get to experience unless you move to a college town that really has that football spirit. But that was the one that I enjoyed the most. I want to see all of your answers. I'm definitely excited to see what you guys have to say. Oh, another one that I was very excited about was getting involved in student organizations. It was definitely one of my top things there. Alrighty, let's see. I think the poll's about to close if I'm not mistaken. Alrighty, and then, wow, most of you guys are excited to be involved in a student organization. That's amazing, honestly. Then I'm gonna love talking to you because that is one of the passions that I definitely share. And right on now, we're gonna be talking about how to get involved and how to approach involvement here at the University of Florida. So can we please go to the next slide? Alrighty. So embarking your extracurricular involvement here at UF, that journey. Getting involved at UF is a daunting experience. There's, I think, over 900 organizations here on campus from all walks of life, and choosing which one you want to devote your time to is something that is extremely difficult. But two things that I can tell you is you need to lead with intent. So you need to know what is it that you want to do? What are your objectives with the positions that you want on campus? Leave your mark, leave your legacy. Make sure that whatever you do, not only are you putting your 100% into, but that it has a purpose behind it, that it could change, even if it's just one person's life, one person's experience at UF. And then the other one that I can give you is to find your community. Surround yourself with people that when you come into the room, you see their eyes light up. I think that is one of the best things that you can get at UF. We are a very big school, 40,000 students. So if you're not able to feel comfortable in whatever organization, whatever space you're into, you shouldn't be there in the first place. Make sure that you find those people that make you feel at home and make you feel comfortable so you have the best college experience that you can think of. Can we get to the next slide? And then, again, just becoming involved at an institution can be a difficult process, but there are some things that you should do. And we already talked about finding your own place, your own community, but I would say the most important thing that I can tell you is to sit down and write down your goals. That is the most important thing you can do. Make sure you stay true as to what you want to achieve in the long run, and remember what you're in college to begin with. At the end of the day, we're all here because we need to be students first, and then comes involvement, and then comes sports, and then comes everything else that you can do here at the University of Florida. But as most of us are first gen, we're locals, it is an added pressure, and we need to remember that we are there to be students and to get our degree. But once you have all of that figured out, I would say create your own path. A lot of people are gonna tell you, oh, you should do this, or you should do this other organization. You should do this and then do this. Involvement is not cookie cutter. There's not a way to do involvement. It's whatever way you want to do involvement. I would say a good rule of thumb is to get an involvement that you're passionate about, something that you have fun with, like a hobby, dance or acting, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Then something that's going to be able to develop yourself professionally. So if you want to be a lawyer, get into a pre-law society or go into workshops that teach you about law, things like that of that nature. And then another one that's for social development, something to meet new people, something that, for example, student government, you meet new people, you get to do stuff, or the Hispanic Student Association, you get to meet new people, you get to develop yourself professionally, you get to develop yourself socially, which I think is extremely important. And it really does add to your college experience at the end of the day. And then can we go to the next slide? These are some of the resources that we have here on campus. You can do the individual involvement consultations, and then you can also do student organization fairs. So we have student organization fairs, I believe, at the beginning of the semester, but you can also go to the Career Connection Center and Gator Connect. I'll tell you, Gator Connect is gonna be your best friend if you're involved here at UF, because not only that's where you submit permits and other things, that's when you're a little bit higher in your involvement journey and your organization journey, but also it's the best tool for you to be able to connect with organizations that you might be interested in. So if you go into Gator Connect, you will see all of those 900 plus organizations, and they tell you a little bit about what they are, what they do. They tell you the contact information for you to reach out to those organizations and really see if you fit in. So that's going to be your best tool. Believe me, I use it almost every day to this day. So it is definitely something that I recommend you check it out. And then can we go to the next slide? The Center for Leadership and Service, the Bob Graham Center, it's a great professional development. They have a lot of professional development opportunities that are essential for your college career and just for you to be able to do after you graduate from college. Getting that experience in internships or externships or just some service opportunities, that goes a long way. So you can start early and then you don't have to, I would say, rush into it on your later years. Then the student involvement guide, all of that, it's on the involvement website that's under SAI. So you can go there and again, you will see events and opportunities for you to be able to get involved. Then the student organization involvement quiz, I got that quiz. Honestly, I didn't enjoy the answers that I got. So I just, again, created my own path and went about it on my way. But if you have no idea where to start, that could definitely be a good starting point. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. You can do whatever you choose to do. And then of course, Gator Connect, I already talked a little bit about it, but Gator Connect will be your best friend. Then can we move to the other slide? And then my favorite organization on campus, of course, the Hispanic Student Organization. And what is Is Hsa? Well, we are the largest organization on campus for members of the Hispanic-Latinx community. We strive to unify our community by educating and empowering all of our members. In simpler words, Is Hsa aims to be your home away from home here at the University of Florida. But why is Is Hsa important? I'll tell you, you're coming into a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution. So spaces that are targeted to marginalized community or minority communities here on campus, it's the best way for you to feel welcome and comfortable. There's no way to explain this unless you experience what it is like being in a predominantly white institution, but it really does make you feel proud of your roots. I come from Miami, which is, I'm surrounded by Hispanics all the time. And that culture shock of going from places that everyone understands where I'm coming from, how I am, the way that I act, to places that people don't understand how you are or how you act or the way that you behave. It's very difficult and it can be an extremely difficult transition. That's why organizations like HSA or BSU or ASU really do provide that sense of security for people of their respective communities, because you are surrounded by people that do understand and were raised in a similar way as you were raised. Can we go to the next slide now? Some of the programming events and opportunities that we have within HSA is the Latin American Summit. We usually have that on the spring semester, so you guys will be a little more aware of everything that's going on by then. And what we do in that conference is we really bring speakers from all walks of life that are Hispanic Latinx for them to share the things that they've done, or just open conversations regarding racial equity and things like that. Then we have our HLHM, which is our Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. This year, the theme is viajes. So they're gonna take you all around the world in their 1 month celebration from the 15th of September to the 15th of October. And another fun fact of our HLHM is actually they are the largest student-run Hispanic Heritage Month celebration in the nation. So that's very, very cool here at the University of Florida. And you can see that some of the information if you want to reach out to them and a little bit more about them. And then one of my favorites, MLP. I was part of the member leadership program back in my freshman year. They say that it's only professional development. It is way more than that. MLP was that one program that really, I would say, changed my college experience for the better, because you're able to get a mentor. It's a mentorship program. So once you get that mentor, you are able, not only do you forge a friendship for life, I love my mentor with my entire heart, but you get to expand your connections, which is extremely important, not only in college, but just in life overall, because knowing people gets you places. And the fact that you're able to do that with MLP at such a young age, it really sets you up for success in the future. And lastly, we have our HSA organizational cabinet. Our cabinet is currently closed. We already have the applications for the 2022-2023 school year, but that is definitely something you can get involved in starting next year. But we do have some committee seats open in our cabinet. We are a very big cabinet. We're over 65 people. We have a 12-man executive board, and we do events from membership trips, which is some of the events that I'm in charge of, to solidarity sessions, which are events where we really speak about the intersectionality between being Hispanic and between being gay, or between being Hispanic and being African American. So there's a lot of events that we do as a cabinet. It's not just all fun and games. It really is an organization that provides you with a wider lens of what it means to be Hispanic Latinx in the nation, I would say. And then can we go to the next slide? My favorite event of the year, HLSA, the Hispanic Latinx Student Assembly. That is an event for you. It's an event for first-year students and returning members of HSA. We dedicate it for you, so you're able to celebrate your culture and make sure that you have the energy to be the best version of yourself going into college. I was part of this event last year as the event director, and it is something that it's really close and dear to my heart, just because I know how much of an impact it can make on people. Because you're provided with all of the resources, and you get to meet all of these new people that genuinely want to get to know you. And that is one of the best feelings in the world. Can we get to the next slide? And then just a few options for you to be able to connect with HSA. I would say the biggest one, follow us on Instagram at hsa.uf. You can subscribe to our newsletter or join our GroupMe. The GroupMe has the link there, but also if you scan that QR code, it will lead you to the GroupMe for HSA. It's called HSA Familia. The membership leadership program, it's not up right now. Applications open on August 30th, but if you go into their website, it does tell you a little bit more information about what the program consists of and how to apply to it. And then can we go to the next slide? Also, HSA has over 20 affiliated orgs. I think we have 21 right now. That includes people from any ethnicity that you can think of when it comes to Latin America. So we have CASA, which is the Cuban American Association, something I was a part of and I really, really loved. And then our newest addition, ECHA, which is the Ecuadorian Culture and Heritage Association here at the University of Florida. So we really have a part of HSA for everyone. anyone that wants to join from any walk of life, from anything that you can think of, we are able to cater to you. But I think that is it for me. I think that was my last slide. Thank you guys so much. And I am so excited to hear your questions in the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christian. Just a couple of things. I realized that was a lot of information, but again, having a community is really important. And don't be afraid to just pick something, you know. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of choice. Just going with something, having a community, having people around you that have done it before is an extreme help. You know, so, you know, just consider one of the options. There was a lot of stuff there, a lot of great organizations. So definitely consider it and look at it with time. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Jana Mesa and Natalie Taren to go over theirs.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the University of Florida. Go Gators. I am personally very happy for you all, and as our panel is, and rooting for you because we could definitely relate to a lot of your potential narratives and stories. So just wanted to take that moment to acknowledge and recognize you know, your journey to getting to this point. So congrats and welcome. So with that, Natalie and I are going to speak a little bit more on the Office of Hispanic and Latinx Student Engagement, which is housed within the Center for Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement. So we can go on to the next slide with that. So yeah, I'm Janet Mesa. I am currently the program director for the Office of Hispanic and Latinx Student Engagement. I recently started, Friday will be a month from when I started. So still transitioning and learning. So I'm excited to also start my time like as a professional at UF. So we can go on to the next slide. So a little bit about the office. So our office mission is essentially to create community support and solace for Hispanic and Latinx students. As Kristen mentioned, being in a predominantly white institution, it is oftentimes difficult to find solace and find a sense of belonging, and it can easily become a journey where we can start internalizing certain situations that happen to us. So in order to address that institutionally, our office exists to support students and to remind them that they do in fact belong and that they've worked their way through to get to get here. So we do that through programming and initiatives, which we'll talk on as we go through. So my apologies. So Noe wasn't able to be with us today, but he is currently also serving as the graduate assistant for the Office of Hispanic and Latinx Student Engagement. So with any programming, you may see myself or him involved in that within our office. Next slide.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Janet. So again, my name is Natalie Taren, and I currently serve as the Associate Director for our department. Very excited to welcome you all to UF, as well as to our Hispanic and Latinx community. So I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just talking about the two different spaces that we have within our department that are dedicated to you all as our Hispanic students. The first one is La Casita, which is an independent building located on University Avenue. If you've not visited campus before, it's a sight to see. But on University Avenue, there are lots of eating opportunities. And then there's also this building, which, you know, is called Little House. And it serves as a space for you all to engage with each other through programming, through our faculty, our staff, and other means of engagement, right? And so we sometimes will have coffee there. I know HSA has requested to host different meetings and event in that space, and it definitely has different classrooms, different conference rooms, as well as social spaces. Again, all aimed at making sure that you have that home away from home within a building that is specifically designated for you. I think the interesting part about this building in itself is that when it was created, we actually have two spaces within our department that are dedicated to our Hispanic and Latinx students. It allowed our office to claim itself as the only institution or one of the few institutions in the Southeast that actually has two specific spaces dedicated to Hispanic and Latinx students. So of course, we hope that you will come and visit us when you join us in the fall semester. And then we do have our office hours, or the hours of operation at the top corner there, but you can also follow us on social media to find out if there are any updates. And so if we go to the next slide, the other building that we want to tell you about is La Salita. And so it is not an independent building like Casita is. However, This space is housed in our student union, which is where a lot of our students tend to spend a good majority of their time. There's the food court, there's the bookstore, of course, and then of course there's also the Center for Inclusion, which the Salita will have its own space in. So similar to Casita, this is a great opportunity for you all to connect with students. A lot of our students are in there studying in addition to attending some of the programs. And again, we hope to see you in that space as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen and Natalie. I just want to emphasize again, there are so many resources here. You know, I know it's a lot of choices, a lot of information, but again, there are people here that want to help you. So please utilize these resources. That's why they're there. And there's people that really want to help, and, you know, you can learn a lot. So thank you so much again.
Thank you, Jonathan. I think Janet and I have a couple more. We're going to talk about a couple of
I
programming
apologize.
events.
I thought you
That's
were
okay. So Janet is going to take it away with talking about Adelante.
Yes, thank you. But thank you for emphasizing utilizing your resources.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so Adelante is also another resource to support incoming transfer or first year students. And essentially a transition program where we assist students in acclimating to the institution, as well as building community and getting connected to campus resources. So our Adelante program is actually taking place from this upcoming Saturday through Monday. And if you are interested in joining and being a part of it, it's still not too late. So just reach out to our office and we can surely handle registration on the back end for you. So just wanted to make mention of that as you all are coming in. But yeah, essentially it's a 3-day program where you're meeting with campus partners, such as financial aid or our vice president for student life, and getting acclimated to professionals as well as resources that exist. So thank you.
Okay. And one of the last programs that we want to tell you all about is Podemos. This is considered one of the professional or career readiness parts of the office. And so it's a year-long program. It starts in the fall and extends into the spring semester, where we give you academic skills and professional development so that you can really truly build upon your experience at the University of Florida. So you'll be with a cohort of other students who will go through this year-long program with you, and you'll get connected to different offices like the Career Connection Center, which has been mentioned before. You'll get connected to different alumni, to mentors. And again, all of that is aimed with wanting to make sure that you have the skills and resources to succeed. So if you've not heard anything about Podemos, you can follow us here at the following social media handles to learn a little bit more, and specifically to learn when applications launch. And so the next slide just goes over the specific social media handles for our office. You can also choose to follow the department as a whole. We do have different collaborative events that are going to be happening throughout the semester. Some of the popular events that happen through the Office of Hispanic and Latinx Student Engagement, of course, include Adelante, which Janet talked about. Podemos, we talked about, well, we haven't talked about Prepárate, but that's also another career readiness program. And we'll have different initiatives. We'll be doing a few things for Hispanic Heritage Month. We have Latina Empowerment Symposium, which takes place in the spring semester, and is a great way to really focus on the experiences of our Latin women. And then if you stay in touch with us, again, we'll have a few more things that we're not mentioning right now that'll be taking place throughout the semester. So we look forward to sharing those with you when you arrive.
Great. Sorry again. We're good. Okay. I apologize. Well, thank you very much again. A lot of resources. Really appreciate it. And with that, we will go back to the president, Leanna, to talk about a few more items that we have.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right, we can go to the next slide and we'll talk a little bit about AHA. So there's different ways that we're, excuse me, there's different ways that we're able to support students in their educational and professional goals. This is one that's really, I think, a unique and a program that I'm really proud of is Conexiones. It's our mentorship program. I know you keep hearing about mentorship and networking, but that's really an important aspect of being a student. You know, in college is not just what the education that you get in the classroom, but the connections that you're able to build with your classmates, with administration, with staff and faculty, but also with alumni. And so through Conexiones, it's a unique mentorship program where we pair you as a Hispanic Latinx student with current Hispanic Latinx alumni mentor in a field of study that you're interested in learning more about. It's a partnership that we actually have and we built with the Hispanic Student Association, where they're able to work with us to identify the students, and we work on identifying alumni across the country, and pair through an application process. We kind of learn what you're interested in receiving in a mentor, and conversely what a mentor is looking for in their mentee. And we have a whole structure about how you're able to connect with one another, learn more, and help maybe guide you through, whether it's guiding you through your experience at UF, whether it's guiding you through what's next, maybe some advice on internship programs, advice on, hey, I'm about to graduate, what do I do? Or advice on where you'd want to move in the future. Those are some of the things and the themes that we talk about in our Conexiones program. And it's a really unique opportunity for you to connect with someone in your field of study and a potential expert. All right, next slide. Another really neat program that we offer through AHA is Prepárate Caimán. And so this is a professional development workshop series that we host 4 sessions throughout the school year. So we usually have it every quarter, and we have alumni experts who we bring on as panelists and do a workshop with you on different topics, whether it's leadership, whether it's networking, whether it's how to move up the ladder in your career. We have a variety of different topics. And again, we have an expert discuss that with you, do Q&A. It's usually a small group session. And so we get really intimate on these topics and are able to dive deep on whatever you're interested in learning about. So once we, the way that you'll be able to learn about when we host these workshops is by following our social media. We'll show at the end what our handles are for our different platforms, but through our social media, we usually promote any upcoming events that we have. And this is one that's catered directly towards students. So make sure to look for this little gator with the briefcase for our Prepárate Caimán event. So next, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold. Next, we have some events that we actually get to host on campus. And we, as alumni, as I mentioned, I did undergrad, I got my MBA, and as you can see, I love being a Gator because I'm involved with AHA. And what we love too is coming back to campus and reminiscing, visiting, watching the Gator games. So we host our reunion, which is Hispanic Alumni Weekend. This year, it is September 30th through October 1st. And we have multiple days of events on campus that students are able to join too. I, as a student myself, used to attend the Hispanic Alumni Weekends because it's a really neat way to meet alumni from across the country and to start that networking process. But also we just host fun events and you'll enjoy yourself. We do have a student rate because there is a payment involved with Hispanic Alumni Weekend. That is because we have like an event at the president's house where there's food and drinks, and we have a tailgate actually at La Casita. So we're super excited about that. I myself, like I said, I was an ambassador for 4 years, and I have not seen in person the new space, the new building, because when I was there, it was completely different structure. So I'm very excited to come back. Check it out, see what you all, where you all get to study and hang out and learn more about you all. So you'll be able to see our alumni there that weekend. Again, we haven't actually posted the link for the tickets. Hopefully that's coming out in the next week or so. Again, but we have a very affordable rate for students, recognizing that, we're not trying to make it expensive for you all to attend, and we would love to see you there. Another big thing, which is honestly one of our biggest priorities, is fundraising money for our students. We recognize that going to college, getting in is one thing, but being able to afford it is another. And so we try our best to raise money every single year to award scholarships. And so actually, we're really proud because this year was our second highest fundraising effort in our since the 1990s, like we mentioned. And through that, because of that, we've been able to expand the amount of scholarships that we provide. Just 2 years ago, we only provided 4 scholarships every year. We're now now at 11 scholarships. So, you know, we, through these efforts, we're continuing to increase the number and the amount that we're able to provide for students. And as you can see, we award a range from 500 to 2,500. These different 4 scholarships you see here, they have different descriptions about what, you know, maybe it's for a graduate student. Most of them are for undergrad students and what kind of student they're looking for in terms of applying. You'll get more information again by following us on social media about when our applications open. If you have any questions about that process or about as the applications open and anything you want to learn more about, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to walk you through that process. And again, this is one of our main priorities, is to fundraise money for our students. And on the next slide, you'll see again how you can reach out to us. There's different ways. You can either email us at the info@ufah.org email. You can visit our website. But we also frequently post on social media, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. So follow us on all, and we'll keep you updated on any really cool opportunities that are coming up, especially Hispanic Alumni Weekend and Conexiones applications are the things that will be coming up sooner than you know.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Leanna. Really appreciate it. And I also want to go ahead and thank all the outstanding panelists for sharing their insight and experiences with the audience. If you weren't ready to come to UF before, I sure hope our panelists have convinced you and you guys are just excited as I am just hearing them to embark on this new journey. So I'm sure you guys are all burning with a lot of questions, and we're going to start taking we're going to start the Q&A process right now. So if you can go ahead and start asking questions, if you're curious about anything, please remember we're only going to speak on the topics that were discussed during this event. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them in now. Oh, and also as a reminder, this section will be bilingual. Anna Medina will serve as our translator. Please keep in mind that Anna is not a professional translator, but will do her best to translate every question in both English and Spanish. So if you have any questions in Spanish, please feel free to write them in Spanish and we'll do our best to answer them appropriately. I'm going to introduce Anna as well.
Perfecto, y bienvenidos a todos otra vez. Como mencionamos, esta parte del evento va a ser en español y en inglés para nuestras familias que necesiten apoyo en español. Me llamo Ana Medina, soy muy orgullosamente venezolana y parte de la Asociación de Hispanos Graduados de la Universidad de Florida. Otra vez, muchas gracias por estar sintonizados con nosotros esta noche, y cualquier pregunta que ustedes tengan, por favor, pueden usar el botón que dice Q&A en la parte de abajo de la pantalla para escribir su pregunta, y vamos a tener una conversación con los panelistas para darle la respuesta. So, quickly in English, hi Gators, welcome. So my name is Anna Medina. I am a proud Venezuelan American, and I'm part of the University of Florida Association of Hispanic Alumni, along with Leanna and Jonathan. Thank you all again for tuning in tonight. I am welcoming any questions in English or Spanish from our panelists today, so I will do my best to translate real time. To enter a question, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll direct them to our panelists for your information. So with that being said, Jonathan, back to you to help us go through our questions.
For sure. I think this first one's actually really good. If somebody could answer, are there any events for online students? And is there another way to get involved in that capacity? I think that's a great question.
La primera pregunta que tenemos es si hay algunos eventos para nuestros estudiantes que están estudiando virtualmente y cómo pueden encontrar esos eventos los estudiantes virtuales. So over to our panelists.
I'm happy to jump in and just talk about through AHA what we offer for online students. So for our Conexiones mentorship program, you can be an in-person student, an online student, and you're able to participate in this mentorship program because likely your mentor is not based in Gainesville and you'll be meeting virtually. And then also our Prepárate Caimán series is all a virtual workshop. So all of those are also for online students.
Para traducirle, los programas que tenemos con la organización que Leanna presentó, EHA Conexiones y Prepárate Caimán, los dos son virtuales, ya que nuestros estudiantes y nuestros previos estudiantes que van a estar parte de esos programas viven en otras ciudades probablemente. Así que conexiones y prepárate, los dos son full virtual, así que son dos buenas oportunidades para nuestros estudiantes que participan virtualmente para todavía estar involucrados con estos programas.
Awesome, awesome. Keep those questions coming. This shouldn't, would imagine this being an issue, but one question I have here, if I can attend a day during the Adelante, is that okay? I don't know if somebody wants to take that, but sure would be an issue.
Y la pregunta es sobre el programa Adelante, es si alguien nada más puede ir un solo día para Adelante, si eso funciona para que sean parte del programa.
Thank you. So yeah, that shouldn't be an issue at all. Depending on what is impeding you from coming, like for example, if your housing assignment is something that's keeping you from coming, or having an MFOS commitment, or anything that's like UF related, we're definitely able to work through it, or anything that's extenuating. So just reach out to me. I'll be sure to share my email to you all like before we end the session. But yeah, I'm basically the one handling all of that in the back end, but no, that should not keep you from participating. So no tiene que impedir su participación en adelante si no pueden atender un día. Nomás contáctenme a mí, voy a dejar mi correo electrónico para que me puedan contactar y ver qué otros méritos existen, pero no, no tiene que ser un problema con adelante si pierdes un día. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm getting some questions directly as well. Like there's another one here. Will we be sharing the PowerPoint from this presentation? There is a lot of useful information. I might just, somebody wants to take that.
Muy buena pregunta y yo les diré la respuesta. La pregunta es si esta información va a ser compartida fuera de esta conversación. Y sí, pueden encontrar ahorita estamos grabando este evento, pueden encontrar la grabación en nuestra página de AHA, les voy a poner la información en la Q&A para que le den clic y toda esta conversación la tienen si la quieren ver en unos 2 días o lo quieren para referencia. I'll take this answer. So yes, we're currently recording this event. So what I will do is this will be hosted on our AHA website. I'll include that website on the Q&A again for everyone's reference. So if you want to check this out in a couple of days to remember these resources, this will be available through the AHA site.
Perfect, perfect. One question I have here, somebody wants to take. What was your favorite extracurricular activity you were involved in at UF?
I can definitely take that. Well, Anna, are you going to translate?
Yes, so la pregunta es, ¿cuál fue en qué organización estuvieron involucrados cuando estaban en la universidad que les gustó más? ¿Cuál fue su favorita de todas las que hablamos hoy?
Yeah, and that question for me, it's definitely been Homecoming and Gator Growl. And it's basically because I've always been a fan of tradition. I really think that traditions make you feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. And it really does make you feel connected to this campus. As someone that came in, one of my first events, and it wasn't even in person, it was an online event because I'm a COVID baby. I graduated 2020, so it was a little difficult, but my first virtual event that I attended was part of Homecoming and Gator Growl, and that kind of gave me that fire again and that pride of being part of UF, which when you come in and it was a COVID year, it was a little bit difficult because you didn't know a lot of people or anything like that. And then once I was able to find Homecoming and Gator Growl, I became involved in it. And it's just, it's so great because you're able to do so many things with it. We have 5 homecoming events. We have 1 extremely big concert, which we've brought artists like Pitbull, Gunna, things like that. And it really does, you can see it in people's eyes, like it makes you feel like you're part of the UF community, which I think it's one of the greatest things that you can have as a Gator.
Y la traducción es Homecoming y Gator Growl, que es parte de un evento que tiene la universidad. Es un juego de Homecoming que lleva muchos eventos que son parte de Homecoming. Hay un concierto y los estudiantes pueden involucrarse en planear esos eventos. Conocen a mucha gente que tal vez no hubieran conocido de otra manera. Y es un evento muy divertido que es parte de darle la bienvenida a nuestros estudiantes al Año Nuevo de UF.
Perfect. This is an interesting one. So, ¿en dónde mi hija puede comer comida latina in UF? Where can my daughter eat Latin food at UF? Somebody want to take that one?
Sure, I'll jump in, but I'm sure some others, since it may have changed by now. But my favorite was always Mi Pa, which I think that they're also opening on campus now. But before it was always offsite, so you would have to drive there, and I would go in my drive-through and get my cafecito and pastelitos, or whatever I was craving that day. I actually still go sometimes when I go back to campus. I also, oh, sorry, Anna. I'll pause before I keep going.
Liana, el restaurante favorito de ella se llama Mi Papá, que es un restaurante, creo que Liana, que es colombiano y tiene mucha comida buena latina en general. Ahorita creo que hay 2 restaurantes en eso que son parte de Mi Papá y es comida deliciosa. Muy recomendada.
Gracias. I also wanted to answer the previous question, which was about favorite involvement. I'm going to highlight 2 things that we haven't already discussed. First is the Bob Graham Center, which Christian did mention. The Bob Graham Center, it's for public service, and there's a lot of really neat opportunities through there. I myself, when I was a student, I got involved, number 1, with their Tallahassee internship program. And that was really neat because I knew I wanted to work in the government space, but I didn't know, that's very broad. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so through this internship, I was, the Bob Graham Center it funds you to go to Tallahassee, our state capital, and do a full-time internship with either like an agency, or for myself, I was placed with a state senator. And you're there in Florida, the way that the legislature works is that they're in session for 60 days. And so in this 60 days, they pass all pieces of legislation for the entire year, which is very different than Congress, where we're in session year round. And so as a student, it's really a unique opportunity because by taking the spring semester and going to Tallahassee, you see all the laws that are passed for the whole year. And so, anyways, this internship opportunity really changed my trajectory. It was my sophomore year, and I was on the younger side of the program. Most were either juniors and seniors who were kind of ready to start their careers. And I was placed in an office where his name's Darren Soto, who is now my boss. And nearly 10 years later, I was able to maintain that relationship and end up working for him when he ran for Congress. And so because of that, I've worked in this space for nearly 7 years. And so anyways, it just solidified for me through that internship program that this was the space that I wanted to work in. I realized what an impact the legislative process makes on people's lives on a daily basis. And I got all of that through just applying to this program through the Bob Graham Center, and it was completely free. I'll pause there before I keep going, Anna, I'm sorry.
Yes, no worries. I will just take chunks of that. So la respuesta de Liana es el centro de Bob Graham fue lo que hizo como estudiante que le gustó más porque tiene muchas oportunidades de liderazgo, incluyendo un programa de pasantías con el gobierno en Tallahassee. Cuando Liana era estudiante, ella hizo una pasantía con el centro de Bob Graham que le ayudó a trabajar con un senador estatal. Ella en ese momento era una estudiante y fue una oportunidad muy única porque tuvo la oportunidad de ver leyes que estaban siendo aprobadas durante ese año. Y esa oportunidad le cambió literalmente la vida a Liana y su carrera, porque cuando ella estaba haciendo esta pasantía en Tallahassee, ella conoció a Darren Soto, que era su jefe en el momento. Todavía no era senador y ella siguió trabajando con él hasta el día de hoy. Ya tienen 7 años trabajando juntos y ella lo conoció y llegó a su carrera hoy por esa oportunidad.
Thank you. And then the Bob Graham Center has they have a ton of opportunities. They have also classes. They They were able to fund some of my research. I was what they call like a Ruben Askew scholar. So anyways, take a look at all their opportunities. They also bring really neat speakers to campus that are more in the political and government space. And they have some cool, they're based in Pugh Hall, and they have some kind of cool study spaces as well. The other involvement that I wanted to talk about, and which I noticed on the survey earlier, a lot of you highlighted was something you're interested in, was study abroad. So studying, I was able to study abroad the summer between my sophomore and junior year. And I did it through a UF sponsored program, but a lot of people, you're able to do it through maybe another university or other sponsored programs, but mine was through UF. And I studied abroad in Salzburg, Austria for a whole summer. It was for 12 weeks. And I would say that also was changed my life. I was placed with a host mom in Austria. And so I lived with an Austrian. And luckily, I actually had a roommate from UF who was also in the house with me. So I didn't feel as alone. And that was really neat to be able to be exposed to, different culture, different language. I did not speak German before going, but I did learn some. I don't know that I remember much anymore, but I took the way that my program was structured was that the first 6 weeks, we took classes. So I took economics and politics of the European Union and German and Austrian history. And then the other 6 weeks, I actually got to do a really cool internship in Austria and be placed in an organization over there. And again, this was all through UF. And I know everyone has different financial situations. I was very lucky that most of my school was paid for, and I only had to take out student loans to study abroad, but I don't regret it. I think that was such a eye-opening experience for me that I would do it again. And honestly, I would go back and do it longer. So that's something that I would change.
Perfecto. Y para traducir la primera parte, Leanna también compartió que el centro de Bob Graham también tiene clases y financiaron parte de su investigación educativa cuando ella estaba en la universidad. Les recomienda que le echen un vistazo a sus oportunidades. Frecuentemente traen oradores políticos para que hablen con los estudiantes y tienen excelentes espacios para que estudien. La segunda parte que Leanna habló fue de estudiar en el extranjero, que fue otra cosa que hizo que le gustó mucho. Ella estudió en Austria por 12 semanas en el verano y tuvo la oportunidad de vivir con una familia austriaca. Y fue muy especial en que ella tuvo la oportunidad de conocer a la cultura, de conocer a la familia y aprender algo de alemán. En su programa las primeras 6 semanas tomó clases y las otras 6 semanas hizo una pasantía. Fue un programa que está disponible a través de UF y hay muchas oportunidades para estudiar en varios países si es algo que le llama la atención a su estudiante hacer en su carrera en UF.
Just real quick, sorry. So you talked about study abroad, and I just wanted to add on how to get financial. So one of my favorite programs is the Matching for Opportunity Scholars. Sorry, I just did Spanglish. But it was MFOS, and they also do fund they don't fund you for student study abroad specifically, but with that aid, you can utilize those funds for whatever's left over after your financial aid is paid out. You can utilize that towards your study abroad. It is a great program. I'm not sure if we have any scholars on here for MFOS, but I definitely wanted to make you aware of that as well.
Perfecto. Y estaba mencionando que si su estudiante es un scholar parte de MFOS para estudiantes de primera generación, ellos también tienen ayudas para financiar oportunidades como estudiar al extranjero. Así que si hay algunos estudiantes ahorita aparte de la conversación que son partes de MFOS, para que sepan que tienen varias maneras de pagar oportunidades como las de estudiar en el extranjero.
Great information. I just want to take us back to the food real quick. I'm just real quick, because miapa is fine, but there are other options. We went to Blue Agave as a staff yesterday, and that was pretty good. There's flacos downtown, which, sometimes there's a time and a place to have flacos, but the food is good. I would say I enjoyed what I had not too long ago. La Tienda, and then I think there's also, what other ones do I want to mention? And I don't know if y'all have other ones that y'all want to share, but those are the ones that also come to mind in addition to Miapa.
Perfect. Natalie, querías contarnos que no nada más hay mi papá para comida latina. Para que sepan, si ahora tienen hambre, hay varias oportunidades. Hay mi papá, también hay Blue Agave y Flacos. Son 2 otros restaurantes y la tienda también tiene comida muy buena latina. Así que tienen opciones para escoger, para que no se aburran de una.
Does anybody else from the panel want to chime in or add anything else before we close? Okay. Wow, that was great. Thank you everyone for your thoughtful questions, and thanks again for the panelists for sharing their thoughts in an effort to prepare the incoming freshmen and their families onto what's to come as they embark on their journey. I do want to make one more quick request to have each of the panelists share, some advice, a piece of advice for the incoming freshmen today. So Christian, I will start with you.
Oh, let me see. I think the one piece of advice that I would say I would have loved, I did get the advice, but I got it a little bit late. I got it when I was a sophomore, but that I wish I would have gotten as a freshman is how it was described to me. It was, don't become a hamster that's just running in a wheel going nowhere. And how I interpreted that piece of advice, it was, there's a lot of things here to do at UF. So don't be someone that's everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. What I mean by that is that you can be involved in so many organizations, go from meeting to class, to going out with your friends, to having lunch with a mentor or something like that. But you're not present in the moment. You're not retaining any of that information. And it's very easy for you to get lost in that bubble. So make sure that you know what your goals are, make sure what you're doing at UF, what you're there for, and try to keep that in mind whenever you're doing anything here at UF, because at the end of the day, what's most important to you should be what you're emphasizing during your college career.
Perfecto, y para traducir lo que nos ha dicho Christian es que hay muchas cosas para hacer en UF, así que no se conviertan en alguien que está involucrado en demasiadas organizaciones y demasiadas oportunidades y no está presente en el momento. Les recomienda que recuerden sus objetivos y sepan que mientras estén en UF mantengan esos objetivos en mente para que los ayude a decidir en qué exactamente se van a involucrar como estudiantes.
Great. Thank you, Christian, and thank you, Anna, for the translations. Janet, I will kick it off to you.
Thank you. So yeah, going off of that, I would also add, so I was intimidated by UF being UF when I first arrived as a first generation student here. But don't minimize yourself or think you can't do something. Don't take your name out of a hat you haven't even thrown it in. So if you feel like running for SG president or being treasurer to an organization or being a member to an organization, do it. Don't compare your journey to someone else's because it's easy to get caught up in the mix of, everyone here is trying to accomplish, their pursuit of happiness. So don't buy into, others are doing and compare it and minimize your story. Because I oftentimes, coming from a genuine place, I oftentimes did that and had this, I guess, imposter syndrome or idea that I wasn't worthy or good enough or smart enough. And that kind of deterred me from trying opportunities that eventually I did try and worked out, but I wish I would have known to turn that negative inner monologue off and just go for it basically. So that's my greatest piece of advice if I were to give you some advice.
Perfecto. Lo que dice Jan es que ella estuvo muy intimidada cuando llegó a UF como estudiante, especialmente siendo primera generación. No tengan nervios para probar cosas nuevas e intentar oportunidades que tal vez piensan que no sean capaces. Recuerden que tu camino ha sido tu camino, no te compares el tuyo con el de más nadie. Tienes todo lo que necesitas para hacer lo que quieres, así que hazlo y eso, recuerda que eres capaz y bueno, vea por ello.
Great. Thank you, Janet. Really appreciate it. Now for the wise, Natalie, do you have any advice for the incoming freshmen?
Yes, I will build a little bit on what Janet said. When our students come to campus, I find that many of them are afraid to connect with different faculty and staff. It can be intimidating, and we understand why. It is a big institution. However, we are here to serve you. Many of us are here working in this profession in particular, here on this panel tonight, because we really do believe in your potential as our students. And we also know that we have the capacity to help you and to share with you some of our experiences, and hope that you'll be able to use that as a stepping stone. So what I'll say specifically is, when you come to UF, go to your instructor's office hours, stop by offices. Even if you don't know what the office is about, the only limitation that you're going to have is just not going in because you are fearful. At minimum, go to that office and ask them, what is it that you do? Someone through history thought that the office was important because the office is here at UF to serve you all as students, right? So don't let the intimidation of just not knowing stop you from connecting with full-time faculty, from connecting with staff, and from entering spaces that you're not familiar with. The university is what it is because of you all, because you are our students.
Natalie dice que hay muchos estudiantes que tienen miedo de conectarse con los profesores, con el personal de la universidad. Ellos están allí para servirle a ustedes y ellos creen en ustedes como estudiantes y saben que tienen la capacidad de ayudarlos y compartir sus experiencias para que ustedes la usen ya así como un trampolín. Vayan al horario de oficina de sus profesores y conéctense con ellos. No vayan a permitir que la intimidación de un profesor, de un personal, les impida de formar esa conexión que es muy importante para ustedes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And lastly, I will leave it to Leanna. She is going to give her advice and also leave us with some closing remarks to wrap us up.
Thank you, Jonathan. So I guess my advice is twofold. One, start building healthy habits if you haven't already in high school. I think it's really easy, or at least I found myself in college, wanting to do it all and, getting involved in a ton of organizations, trying to get good grades, doing my internships, where you kind of lose sight of yourself. So remember to, exercise, eat healthy, take advantage of mental health services on campus, which are free through the Counseling and Wellness Center. I don't know if it's still called that, CWC, maybe. Okay, great. Through the Counseling and Wellness Center, and just start to try to build healthy habits, because that'll follow you after college. I mean, I still find myself, working a lot, busy, and, sometimes struggling to eat healthy and, find time to exercise. And I think that if I were better at having found, making that a priority in college and building those habits now, it'll follow you throughout life. So try to think about that as you're navigating college.
Leanna, if I may.
Sorry, go ahead, Anna.
Yes, thank you. Leanna dice que empiecen los estudiantes a desarrollar hábitos saludables. Es súper fácil querer hacerlo todo cuando llegan a la universidad y están emocionados y quieren involucrarse en muchas organizaciones. Tienen que recordar de cuidarse a sí mismos, a hacer ejercicio, comer saludable, aprovechar. Hay muchos servicios de salud mental en la universidad que tienen a su disponibilidad. Y tratar de desarrollar hábitos saludables, porque esas son cosas que les seguirá a su vida después de la universidad. Así que este es el momento para practicarlo y les servirá para toda su vida.
Thank you. And then second, do find things that you actually like and are passionate about. It's really easy at UF when you are in the involvement space to want to get involved in organizations because they're prestigious on campus or because a lot of people talk about them, but maybe you don't feel passionate about it. And that's okay. Like, I think it's important. You only have so much time. So invest the time in things that you care about, that you are passionate about. Because really at the end of the day, when you leave UF, a lot of people outside of UF don't even know what some of these organizations are. And so don't lose sight of why you're there and what you want to accomplish. And do things because you love them or you care about them, not because you think you have to do them.
Perfecto. Y el segundo pensamiento de Leanna es que encuentren cosas que realmente les gusten y les apasionen. Es muy fácil querer involucrarse en varias organizaciones porque son prestigiosas y tienen un nombre que a la gente le gusta, pero tal vez ustedes no sientan pasión por ellas. Ella les recomienda que se involucren en cosas que de verdad les apasiona y les ayuda muy bien en su carrera. No pierdan de vista la razón por la que están en la universidad y sigan a las cosas que quieran hacer, que les apasionen y que les llame la atención.
All right, well, thank you, Anna. First, I just again want to thank the panelists. Thank you, Jonathan, our amazing MC, Christian, Janet, Natalie, for your insight tonight. Also, y'all can't see her, but we have Lauren behind the scenes helping with our tech. So just want to give her a shout out as well. Thank you to you all. I know it's an evening. I know you're all busy, probably either moving or preparing for your semester. And so just want to thank you all for taking the time this evening. We hope that you found this really insightful. I know this is just like a sliver of what UF has to offer. But again, find what you're passionate about and run with it. And this is such a unique opportunity. Being at UF and going to college is a beautiful experience, and I hope that you love it. Just remember that you can find your community in so many different corners of this university. And so we urge you to try to find it. Remember that you're a Gator now. You are part of this familia. We are here for you, all of us, in different ways. We hope you'll consider maybe joining the Hispanic Student Association or going to La Casita or La Salita and learning more about what the offices of Hispanic-Latinx student engagement have to offer for you, or even get involved with us. Even as a student, it's not too early to get involved with AHA and connect with your alumni. So hope you found this useful. Bienvenidos to La Familia, and thank you all for joining us tonight. Go Gators.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, team. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you.